Canada's commitment to putting human rights at the center of our foreign policy has drawn some attention in recent days.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Chrystia Freeland speaking today in Vancouver after Saudi Arabia just yesterday ordered Canada's ambassador to leave the country while recalling their own and announcing it was freezing all new trade and investment with Canada. And Saudi media reporting the kingdom is suspending scholarships to Canada and is transferring thousands of students to other countries. This just weeks before the start of the school year. Freeland, still in Vancouver, sharing this message for those students today.
We have been glad for many years to welcome Saudi students here, and they are very much welcome.
And Saudi Arabia's state airline saying it will be suspending flights in and out of Toronto. What's behind the dramatic diplomatic move? It started with a tweet late last week, Global Affairs Canada posting, Canada is gravely concerned about additional arrests of civil society and women's rights activists in Saudi Arabia, including Samar Badawi. We urge the Saudi authorities to immediately release them and all other peaceful human rights activists. Badawi is a prominent women's rights campaigner who won the International Women of Courage Award in 2012. Her brother, blogger Raif Badawi, is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence in Saudi Arabia for criticizing clerics. His wife and children now live in Quebec. In a tweet, Saudi Arabia saying the Canadian position is an overt and blatant interference in the internal affairs on the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Since May, more than a dozen women's rights activists have been targeted by Saudi Arabia, most arrested just weeks before the country lifted the ban on female drivers, the very cause the activists were campaigning for. Freeland today doubling down on her position.
Canada will always stand up for human rights in Canada and around the world, and women's rights are human rights.
It's not clear just yet what effect Saudi Arabia's ban on trade will have on the roughly $4 billion a year relationship between the two, or on the more than $10 billion contract with the Canadian unit of General Dynamics for light armored vehicles. Now, support for Canada is coming from Amnesty International today with a statement saying in part that Saudi Arabia's retaliation against Canada is a clear indication that the international community must increase the pressure for real human rights reforms.